You're listening to 97.7 The Bolt. This is Sam T. Jensen. And joining me now, I'm very excited about this, is Tiffany, who will be headlining Woolies in Des Moines. That is Sunday, October 27th, and then in Omaha, Tuesday the 29th. And this is all part of her North American tour. Information on those dates and more available at tiffanytunes.com. Tiffany, how are you doing this morning?
I am doing great. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem at all. So I want to talk about your latest album. We've been playing that here on the station, Pieces of Me, which is your 10th studio album. And just personally, I want to know what kind of makes this album special or maybe a little bit different than your previous work.
Oh, probably the sound. I mean, it's more rock than people probably know me from. But that's where I've wanted to go, and I'm really excited to be delivering the new music and doing a tour around it and showing people what I got and what's happening often in tours nowadays. So the album got great reviews and great response and is getting great reviews from the live performances. So I am all smiles and very happy.
Well, good. I'm very happy for you. So I know Pieces of Me is also the name of a new podcast you're working on. What can you tell us about that?
It is. I know. I'm excited about that because it's going to be just like a collection of what goes on behind the scenes. I'm a foodie. I love to cook as well. So from like possible restaurants that I go to that I really love that are got a cool vibe that people need to know about, not the norm, to musicians that I bump into along the road. And there's always something to talk about. Every day's a new adventure. So it really is whatever we get into.
I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. That'll be cool. And then I know earlier this year you also released a new version of I Think We're Alone Now with a really, really cool music video to go with it. It now has, I think you're at like 1.5 million views, which is pretty incredible. And I can account for about a dozen of those. What made you kind of want to go back and make a new version of such an iconic song?
It was time. I mean, I've been doing, like I said, live touring and blending the old material and the new material took a little bit of thought behind it. And some of the songs I think Alone Now could have been, they're all really good songs. They can be reworked in many different ways. So it just made sense. Apparently it was perfect timing because, the Umbrella Academy, put it out there all of a sudden, which was just perfect timing. I had nothing to do, didn't even know that was happening. So, that helped launch the video and everything that I had planned. It was just giving it more momentum. Then, of course, going on the mixtape tour and, having all that exposure again as well. So, but this was something that re-releasing, I Think We're Alone Now, had been in the works for a little while, and that was our timeline, and it just kind of all came together.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the mixtape tour, because you're kind of in the middle of this, I don't know, like kind of nostalgia boom, or, all these 80s and 90s artists you see coming back and making new music. What's kind of the difference for you when you're touring with, like, New Kids on the Block and all these other 80s and 90s icons, and then touring by yourself? What's kind of the difference for you there?
Well, it's totally different beats. One was just completely retro, celebrating songs of our youth and how we got here, which was so much fun. And, Pieces of Me tour is about exposing people to what's in my heart now, the performer that I've become, and getting them caught up in, the 30 years of me being here and, celebrating still the good music and all the past, what I Think We're Alone Now could have been. Because that's all, of course, included in my show. But, definitely, I think they get some thoughts behind the new music. Probably a lot of things they didn't know, that I started off in country music and, was doing rock music when I was 12 in Los Angeles. But I was 12, so that didn't work. It was a process to get here. And I think once people see the process, but more than anything, see the live show, see me as a performer, I even have good friends that have come out and said, I didn't know. I've watched you your whole career. You're my friend. You're my family. And I'm sorry. I didn't know you could sing like that. I didn't know you could perform like that. That's a whole other level. So I think seeing is believing more in my world, but I love what I'm doing. So, I rise to the challenge.
I'm even more looking forward to the show now after I've talked with you. I'm really excited about that. Again, that's Woolies in Des Moines, Sunday the 27th. And like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing you there, and I wish you the best of luck in the rest of your tour.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No problem. Sounds good, Tiffany. You have a good one.
Thank you. You too. Bye.